Not all smart people are great leaders, but every great leader you admire runs on more than one kind of intelligence, often unconsciously. Steve Jobs blended intuition and design to make technology feel human. Nelson Mandela led with empathy and ethics, turning reconciliation into strategy. Angela Merkel combined logic with deep reflective judgment, steering a continent through crises. None of them fit inside a single IQ box, because modern leadership isn't a test score, it's a portfolio. Today, we start a two-part journey through the 9 types of intelligence that power contemporary leadership. In this first half, we'll explore 6 forms you can train immediately, with examples, micro-habits, and field drills you can bring to your team tomorrow. Think of this as your leadership operating system upgrade. Stack more intelligences, and your influence compounds. 1. Linguistic intelligence. Your voice as a force multiplier. What it is, the precision use of language, story, and framing to move minds. Leaders with high linguistic intelligence convert complex ideas into clean narrative arcs and choose words that lower resistance while raising clarity. Why it matters. Influence travels through sentences first. The right metaphor beats a 10-slide deck. The right question exposes the real problem. Great communicators don't just talk, they translate. Icon in action. Martin Luther King Jr. changed a nation with carefully architected rhetoric that fused moral clarity and emotional cadence. Where to use it? Keynotes, media, negotiations, change management, and one-on-ones where a single phrase can unlock alignment. Micro-habit, replace. Here's what we'll do with here's the story we're inside. Give your team a beginning, middle, end. Origin, why this matters. Obstacle, what we're facing. Outcome, what success will look and feel like. 2. Logical mathematical intelligence. Decisions that hold under pressure. What it is. First principles reasoning, structured problem decomposition, and systems logic. Leaders with this intelligence cut through noise, find the governing variables, and stress test decisions with numbers and counterfactuals. Why it matters. When the stakes rise, hand-waving fails. You need assumption trees, decision tables, and a way to model risk that doesn't collapse under scrutiny. Icon in action. Elon Musk popularized the first principles approach. Define the physics, price the parts, rebuild the cost stack, then recombine. Where to use it? Strategic planning, budgeting, pricing, capacity planning, and any scenario where intuition needs a skeletal model to stand upright. Micro-habit. Before approving a big initiative, ask, what are the 3 variables that explain 80% of the outcome? Focus the plan there. Make the rest adjustable. 3. Spatial intelligence. Seeing the blueprint before it exists. What it is. The ability to visualize structures in 3D, sense patterns, and arrange components, whether they're buildings, interfaces, or organizational architectures, into coherent systems. Why it matters. Leaders don't just manage, they design. Org charts, workflows, product ecosystems, customer journeys. High spatial intelligence lets you map complexity, then simplify it without losing fidelity. Icon in action. Great architects, product designers, and systems engineers routinely convert ambiguity into clean frameworks that teams can execute. Where to use it? Roadmaps, service blueprints, user flows, office layouts, and cross-functional operating models. Micro-habit. Convert any multi-step plan into a single-page diagram. If your plan can't be drawn, it can't be done. 4. Musical, rhythmic. Intelligence, timing, tone, and emotional flow. What it is. Sensitivity to rhythm, tone, cadence, and the emotional arc of communication. This isn't about playing an instrument. It's about tuning your message to the moment. Why it matters. Audiences don't just process content. They feel cadence. The difference between a flat update and a stirring rally is often tempo and pauses. Icon in action. Barack Obama's speech patterns. Deliberate pacing, melodic lifts, strategic silences show how rhythm converts logic into felt resonance. Where to use it? All hands, launch events, crisis addresses, and investor calls where tone and timing either anchor or agitate. Micro-habit. Mark your scripts for breath points and beats, slow down on stakes, quicken on wins. End paragraphs on downbeats for authority. 5. Bodily kinesthetic intelligence. Presence that speaks before you do. What it is. Mastery of nonverbal communication, posture, gestures, spatial use, eye contact, plus the somatic regulation that keeps your nervous system calm under pressure. Why it matters. Roughly half of what people hear is nonverbal. When your body contradicts your words, people believe your body. Leaders with kinesthetic intelligence ground a room. They project steadiness when others wobble. Icon in action. Elite performers, athletes, and stage speakers who can hold silence, own space, and signal certainty without a word. Where to use it? Difficult feedback, board meetings, media appearances, and negotiations where micro-signals decide macro outcomes. Micro-habit. Adopt the triangle. Feet planted, spine tall, shoulders soft. Keep gestures inside the frame of your torso for precision, widen only to mark turning points. 6. Emotional intelligence. Interpersonal. Making people feel safe to do their best work. What it is: the capacity to read emotions, practice empathy, and shape relational climates where people can tell the truth, take risks, and own outcomes. Why it matters: performance isn't just skill, it's state. Teams do their boldest thinking in psychological safety. Leaders high in interpersonal EQ turn meetings into learning loops, not performance theaters. Icon in action. Satya Nadella reframed Microsoft from know-it-all to learn-it-all, using empathy to unlock curiosity, collaboration, and durable growth. Where to use it: hiring, one-on-ones, conflict resolution, retrospectives, and cross-functional missions where egos must integrate. Micro-habit. In any tense conversation, start with, "What would a great outcome feel like for you?" Then mirror back what you heard before proposing solutions. 7. Intrapersonal intelligence. Leading yourself before leading others. If interpersonal intelligence is understanding others, intrapersonal intelligence is understanding yourself, your triggers, your patterns, your energy cycles, your inner narratives. This is the intelligence behind emotional regulation, self-honesty, and clarity under pressure. Leaders with high intrapersonal intelligence don't react. They respond. They know when they are operating from fear, when they are operating from ego, and when they are operating from vision. Example: the Dalai Lama and many modern Stoic CEOs share the same habit. They pause before making decisions that affect others. They measure their inner state before shaping an external one. How to train it: keep a decision journal. Write what emotional state you were in when making decisions, then review outcomes later. Practice the name the emotion rule. If you can label what you're feeling, you've already reduced its intensity. Leadership payoff: clarity, consistency, and the ability to stay grounded when everyone else is spinning. 8. Naturalistic intelligence. Seeing systems, not just parts. This is the intelligence of pattern recognition in ecosystems. Whether that system is a forest, a supply chain, a market, or a company culture. Leaders with high naturalistic intelligence are exceptional at long-term thinking, sustainability, and holistic decision-making. Example: Yvon Chouinard, founder of Patagonia, didn't just build a clothing company. He built a philosophy of regenerative capitalism. He understood that ecology and economy are not separate conversations. Where it matters: climate strategy, resource allocation. Building organizations that last more than 3 fiscal cycles. Micro-habit. Before launching anything major, ask, what are the second and third order consequences? This question alone prevents 80% of avoidable damage. Leadership payoff: decisions that age well. 9. Ethical intelligence. Doing what's right when it's hard. Ethical intelligence is moral judgment under pressure. Not when things are easy, not when values are convenient, but when doing the right thing costs you something. Leaders with ethical intelligence create trust that compounds across years. They build reputations that protect their organizations even in crisis. Example: Malala Yousafzai didn't lead by force or authority. She led by moral clarity so strong that people around the world felt it instantly. In companies, this shows up in transparent communication, fairness in promotions, admitting mistakes quickly. Micro-habit. Replace. How do we win? With how do we win without violating who we are? Leadership payoff: reputation, loyalty, and the ability to maintain alignment across scale. True intelligence isn't what you know, it's how you adapt, how you connect, how you lead under uncertainty. The most powerful leaders are not defined by one strength. They are defined by the range they can call upon. You don't need all 12 at once, but every new intelligence you develop multiplies the power of the others. If you're ready to expand your leadership capacity one intelligence at a time, subscribe and stay with us here at Next Level Leadership.